So if you go to this site up here, just bit.ly /CamCon 8. Uh-huh.
Right?
Oh, actually, if you open up a new window, up here, and then type it.
Up there?
Mm-hmm.
Open up something else?
Yep, so just open up a new window so that you can keep this open if you wanted to.
Is that a new window?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And then now you can type it in.
Oh.
Yeah. It's an actual web address.
There's a 5.
And if you just change that, if you hit the arrow, it'll save it, and then you can just
Oh, there we go.
change it to an 8. Yeah.
There we go. And there you go.
Yep. Oh, thank you.
There it is.
Yep. And so then if you want to, so this is the whole, so that website is the guiding document for this session. There is a link also to all the videos that we're going to be watching. And there's also a link to the PowerPoint presentation that's that I'm at right now.
These guys?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So my PowerPoint presentation follows the document. So to start off, I'll just start by welcoming you guys to my session. I'm honored to be here, and I'll wait for these ladies. But I'm so excited to be here. It's great to meet you. Remind me of your name again. Kathy. Yep. Mhm. So
It'll be fun.
and this is your first year participating, right? Cool. It was a phenomenal experience.
This is, electronics are quite an experience for me anyway.
Me too, Kathy.
Okay, challenge. We'll take a challenge.
Yeah. Well, ladies, I'll just start by introducing myself. I'm Paige and Maria. I know I introduced myself to you, but this session is video for mentorship and new teacher coaching. My name is Phillip Haberman. I'm a high school science teacher at Compassion Road Academy. I teach earth science and biology, and this is my second year teaching, so I still have a lot to learn, and I'm just honored to be here and share my experiences with you guys. So just to start off, a little bit about myself so that you have a better understanding of who I am and what I'm passionate about, so that you can understand why I was so drawn to Project.cam. I attended Metro State University for both my undergraduate and my teacher licensure program, and I've been at Denver Public Schools for the last 2 years. Hi there. And when I was at Metro State University in my teacher licensure program, I involved myself in everything I could, and I found that through my participation in lots of programs and on lots of different projects, I got the most out of my experience. And so I brought that passion to Denver Public Schools. And so when I saw the opportunity last year to participate in Project.cam, I thought it was a great opportunity for me to become involved in work that the district was doing, and an opportunity for great collaboration, and just a great chance to bring technology into my classroom, which I'll talk about a little bit more. So like I said, I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm just really excited to share some of the videos that I recorded last year with you guys, and I'm excited to hear about what you're passionate about and what your plans are for incorporating technology into your classroom. So the objectives of this session are, and these are in the document, and if you haven't got there yet, Mary, you can go to this web address, and it'll pull you into the session document. So the first objective is to discuss how video supports new teacher growth and mentorship. Me being a new teacher, I learned an incredible amount from this experience, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about all of the different things that allowed me to learn as much as I did. The second objective is to explore how video can be used in and out of the classroom. Consider the what, when, why, and how to record, which many of you are second-year participants, or if you're just a first-year participant, that's okay too, because we're going to talk about some of those considerations to make, and just identifying ways to get the most out of your participation. So my motivation for participation, like I was saying, was the opportunity to use technology, the opportunity for collaboration, the opportunity to be involved with the district, and the Climate Reality Project was something that actually got me into teaching, and it was something that got me excited about Project.cam. And when I went to this training, I networked with a lot of passionate individuals in the community about climate change, and many of them were science teachers. And I met a gentleman who teaches in Mexico. He's a high school science teacher in Mexico. And I met this gentleman, and we had a conversation about school collaboration and ways in which I could collaborate with my students here, with his students in Mexico. And it got the ball rolling about all of the opportunities that were available for this type of collaboration. And I hadn't heard of Project.cam. I hadn't got my job at DPS yet, but I met this individual. We had a great conversation, and it planted the seed for my participation in Project.cam. So in my application last year, I talked about how at one of my student teaching experiences when I was at Hamilton Middle School, I was able to provide students with the opportunity to have a conversation with his students in Mexico about the work that they were doing on the environment and the work that my students were doing at Hamilton Middle School, and have a conversation about educational activities and things that they were doing in the classroom. And so I'll show a quick video that my friend shot of me, and it really opened up my eyes to the power of video. And it's a video that I showed to my students as well. So we'll watch this short video clip just to get us further excited about the power of video. And hopefully the sound works.
I'm here on the area campus for the Sustainability Fair 2013.
We're not going to solve climate change alone. It's going to have to take a world effort to really both reel in our greenhouse gas emissions and also to adapt to that warming climate.
So we're organizing today with multiple businesses, nonprofits, student organizations to talk to them about potential opportunities that we have to give climate presentations in our community so that we can share the science of climate change with our community and talk to them about action steps that they can take to positively impact the environment and reduce our carbon footprint. This event today is one of many. It's the greatest opportunity that we've ever had to give back, and I'm excited to be out here on behalf of the Climate Reality Project and the Sustainable Campus Program. Thank you.
So I recorded that video. My friend helped me edit it, and I recorded that video just prior to getting hired on at DPS. And when I saw the opportunity to participate in Project.cam, I thought about that experience, and I thought about the power of video, and I thought about my excitement for the opportunity to provide students with meaningful collaboration opportunities with other students around the world and in our state. So that was an important event for me to capture. And what I'd like to do for our icebreaker, and I know it's a small group, but I would just like you to think about a specific time this past academic year that you would have loved to have access to a camera, a lesson, a moment in time in your instruction when you just would have really liked to have documented that experience. And I was hoping that you could share that with a partner, and then we could report out and just hear what that is. And maybe you did capture that. Maybe you had your camera that you got from Project.cam and you were able to capture it, or maybe you didn't have it and you would have liked to have captured it, or maybe it's something that you're looking forward to recording in your classroom if you haven't done it yet. So it could be a variety of things. So at this point, I'm going to grab a chair and I'm going to sit down with you guys. We'll just have a very short opportunity to share maybe an experience that you would have liked to have recorded. And these pictures up here, the one that sticks out to me, I can start us off here, is each of these experiences held a really powerful place in my heart, and just our experiences that I am so excited to have. They're the things that get me out of bed in the morning and allow me to overcome all the challenges with being a teacher and all the responsibilities. I have Kiki K, one of my students who had removed a heart from the shark that we were dissecting. I have a group of my students at the Earth Day Fair in front of the City and County building, and I have Billy Santa Stephen weighing waste to present to our administration the importance of having recycling and composting at our school, because we currently don't have it. So those are 3 moments in time that I'm so thankful that I recorded them with a camera and that I got a picture of them. Those experiences, I got parts of them on video and uploaded them, however, not each of them. And so those are some examples of a moment in time that I was really thankful to have technology. So I'd love to hear from you and about what moments in time you would like to capture or you did capture.
I guess in the past, as a biology teacher, we have done pig dissections, and this was years before we went through them this year. That would have been a really cool thing to videotape. The kids did, like they had their cell phones and stuff, and they would take pictures. Another experience that I did was the Martin Luther King, the parade. And we did take pictures, but it would have been really cool to have like a more robust video camera. So this year I got that, so we'll see how that turns out. So
Nice.
I was part of the project this year, and going into it, I didn't know what kind of equipment to order, and so I got a static camera, and I discovered that I am not a static person, and that made it tricky for me to video a lot of what we were doing, but I was fortunate enough to, because of all this project, to start redesigning my room and change the way it looks and the way we use the space. And I managed, we started the process, and I managed to get one video out of several that I wish I'd have gotten that was a pretty good video of the kids actually doing that. So hopefully with the new equipment I got this year, the mobile, we're going to get better sound. It's going to be awesome.
You can.
Okay. Yeah, and Mary, I'm new to this. Last year was my first year without my own classroom. I wear a number of different hats at my school, but my interaction directly with students is somewhat limited. So I would have to say I work with we have Denver teaching residents in our building. I'm the site coordinator for them. And we had some amazing instruction going on that they were doing, and was able to, share it out in celebrations with the staff, but it would be incredible to be able to record some pieces of that, because given that they're, teaching residents, they're just hitting it out of the park, just doing some really great collaborative lessons, and really, yeah, wonderful. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm Kathy, and I'm in physical education, so I'm trying to figure out, this is my first year, and so I have been pondering which way I'm going to put the camera set up, because I got the little camera, and then, so should I put it on the head, but then I just learned in the last session that we can just put it on the wall, and that would be really neat to do. And I've been watching the kids this year. It would have been really neat to see the video. I have a team game that is Steal the Jewels, and I divided it into 4 teams, so it's 4 teams versus each other, and it was really fun to watch them collaborate and decide how they could go and get the jewel and get it back to their space, and the collaboration they started doing and the planning they started doing and how they were going to guard. It was just fun to watch it evolve, and from the first time they did it to be able to see it later and how they started working together so much. It would have been fun to video.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. Well, it's awesome to hear from you guys and just hear about some of the experiences, some of the things that you're passionate about recording, and some of the strategies that you've taken to set up your classroom to make it more conducive to recording, some of the opportunities that you'd like to be able to document and share out, and some of the challenges as well as solutions to those challenges already That's what this session is all about, just to get you thinking and processing those things. And my videos are, they're a little rough, and I chose some of them to just demonstrate that it was a learning process. And by rough, I mean, the video that I showed you was really clean, and it was really edited, and it had the background music in it, and that's great if you're able to do that, but this is also just about learning the process, and it's meant to be just genuine and authentic, and what happens on a day-to-day basis. So I included, and I left some of the stuff in that I think is just fun, and just shows the environment and the nature of the classroom, that it's not dynamic, and it's static, and it's constantly changing, and there's challenges. So I left some of the redirects that I had while students were giving presentations. If someone interrupted them and was not doing what they needed to do, then I left some of that stuff in there, because I think that it's important. I know that one of the challenges that I faced was that I wanted everything in the classroom to be perfect, and I was nervous being a new teacher, and I was a little self-conscious about sharing it out in the community, and all of those kind of fears that we have. With time, and each time that I recorded, I felt like I was able to let some of that go, and I was able to not be as self-conscious. And you are putting yourself out there. I know in recording my reflections and stuff, I thought hard about it, and I found that when I just took the time to plan out what I wanted to say, and when I was just genuine and authentic, then I felt good about what I shared. But I recorded a lot of reflections, and so what you're going to see is, and you guys you're going to have an opportunity to choose which videos you would like to watch. I've broken it out into 5 different sections, and I think it makes more sense, since we have a smaller group, that we just maybe watch them together as a whole group, or you guys could decide that you would prefer to watch them individually. We kind of have some flexibility in it. So let me show you what we have, and then we can make those decisions as a group, okay? So the interactive stations, like I was describing, Station 1 is a video focused on reflection. Station 2 is a video focused on collaboration. Station 3, instruction. Station 4, student presentations. And Station 5, out-of-classroom experiences. So in the document that's at that website, if you're there, you can scroll down and you can see each of those videos. And I should pull that up too, if we want to watch it as a whole group. So I'm going to open that up, and if you haven't opened it up, I'd encourage you to open up that document now too. And we encourage you to share out all of the amazing things that you're learning from one another, and hopefully some of the things that you're learning from me, or that you end up learning from me. Miss Jessica set up the hashtag Project Colorado, or Project Cam Opener.
Capitalize the C and the O, because then it's all Colorado.
Bam.
The things that amuse me when I'm dreaming.
So if you scroll down, the first one in the queue is video for reflection. So here's where we're at. We are a half an hour in. We have approximately half an hour. The videos are 5 minutes. Each of them is 5 minutes. So let's take a collective vote. Would you prefer to watch the videos together as a whole group and have some conversation around those videos that we watch? Or would you prefer to maybe watch a certain video that you are most excited about watching? Because I know you're probably excited about watching each of those videos. I can tell the excitement. Yeah, we can definitely.
So something that I learned in the session that Barth just did that I thought went pretty well, was pretty successful, is that he played part of the video,
Okay.
and then he left it playing but turned down the audio. I hadn't even thought of that. And then let it play in the background during the discussion.
Cool.
I felt like that was that helpful, I think, so that it was not watching the whole clip of
Sure.
everything, but getting a taste and then having some good conversation.
Great.
So we could also kind of mash the two together.
What do you think?
Yes, I vote for
Yeah.
Jessica.
Okay. Should we start with reflection and just go through them? Okay. We'll get the dry stuff out of the way. Reflection's not the most fun stuff, but it was something that I utilized a lot. So we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll out of classroom experiences and student presentations and stuff are some of the ones that I'm most excited about. I'm excited about each of them, but in their own way.
I'm going to ask Jessica a question. I saw your reflection in the car. So I was just wondering what camera are you using?
My
Just
phone.
your cell phone?
Yeah.
So I have one of those cell phone hangers that goes in the vent, like the heater vent. And so I just turn the camera to facing me and I wiggle it around a little until it's sort of kind of on my face. And then I just start talking while I'm driving.
Hi, good evening. Welcome to my mid-year reflection.
I actually find that it's something that I stole from Ben. He calls them car tasks. He's been doing them for many years. And I thought, well, it actually came about one time that I had left the learning experience and had all these ideas that I needed to process and sort of get out. Normally I would have written them all down, but I was driving and so I couldn't. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try this thing that Ben does and I'll just record myself talking. At least then I can get my thinking out and kind of capture it for right now and not lose it. And I've actually found that recording my vlogs is what they're called, they're video vlogs. Recording my vlogs in the car is so much easier for me because if I sit in front of the camera and talk at it, I get really self-conscious about what I'm saying. And having some other activities, some people really like walking and processing, but it's just that idea that like my brain is partly still focused on something else, so I get totally wrapped up in worrying about what I'm saying, and I'm able to get my thoughts out a little better that way.
Yeah, I found, like I said with my reflections, I found that it was really helpful if I just kind of had an outline of what I was going to say and what I really wanted to communicate. And I chose to just use my mid-year reflection so that you could see just kind of a cohesive reflection in which I focused on where I was at, what was going on, successes, things that were going really well, things that I could improve upon in my practice, and those were some of the major things that I focused on in this reflection. So this was my mid-year reflection from this year. And the editing software that I use to do this is called Camtasia, and it worked really well to be able to edit and take out. I think my reflection was maybe about 8 minutes long, which I tried to keep videos at about 5, so it's not as much to manage. And so I edited it down with Camtasia and was able to speed things up too. I was able to speed it up and I was able to increase the volume via Camtasia and add this graphic here. So there's some really cool resources that are available, and Camtasia I found was one of those. So let's, while we're watching this, some things that I want you to think about are just maybe if you were recording a reflection, what kind of things would you want to be sharing? And what considerations would you need to make in recording a reflection?
Hi, good evening. Welcome to my mid-year reflection. My name is Phillip Haberman. I'm a second-year science teacher at a second-year school. The school is Compassion Road Academy. It's a public alternative high school. I'm located at 10th and Cherokee, and I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to be sharing my progress with you and checking in with you, and being a part of Project.cam has been awesome. Just a little background about my school, where I'm at in this school year. So we're on a quarter system. So we're halfway through the third quarter and teaching 2 sections of Earth Science first semester, 1 section of Biology first semester, and an advisement class. In my Earth Science class, we're wrapping up a unit on the rock cycle. Students are demonstrating their knowledge by giving a presentation to the class and sharing their knowledge of the rock cycle and the 3 main types of rocks to prepare them for a sedimentary rock lab that they're going to be starting this week that will share with them the 3 main types of sedimentary rocks so that they have a better understanding of the formation of fossil fuels, which transitioned into my Earth Science 2 class. So I'm excited to be at this part of the quarter with the group. They've been giving some great presentations. I have recorded some of the presentations that they've given, and I look forward to sharing those with you. In my biology first semester class, students are wrapping up their unit on evolution, and so they're writing a 5-paragraph essay about an organism that they've been researching. They will have to go over the evolutionary history of that organism in their research paper, and then they'll have to give a presentation to the class about their organism. Students will be wrapping up their essays this week.
So just to start the discussion, who has recorded a video reflection before? What were some things that you think that are helpful about that? What were some considerations that you made when recording that page?
Well, like you, I had to kind of write an outline of what I wanted to say, and I think that outlining process was helpful, but then as I was actually talking, I'm a processor while I talk, so I think I learned a whole bunch of stuff while I was saying what I needed to say without actually having to go find somebody to process with. It's sort of process with the camera.
That's great. And with that processing, so some of it was, I mean, you can create your outline and draft your outline, but then you can be kind of fluid with it. And what allowed you to stay? I mean, what length were your videos?
Well, I did the same one.
Okay.
And then I tried to do a few more just around some of the things I'm doing. I try to keep them fairly brief. I think I'm a bit long, and so
Yeah.
I'm trying to, aside from this one, I don't know how long mine was, but about 5 minutes or
Mhm.
less, just an idea that I need to just get the stuff out of my brain.
Mm-hmm. Has anyone else recorded video reflections?
I've done video reflections of my students regarding a CSR strategy. I'm one of those self-conscious people who is like just intimidated. I'm like, if I'm doing a Google Hangout, it doesn't seem that bad because somebody else is doing it too. But if I'm doing it by myself, it seems very narcissistic. And but I'm really excited about the idea of maybe doing it while riding my bike to school or after school driving from and to school. You know, like the reflection after school. It sounds like an awesome thing. And like you say, many times after school, it's like the perfect time to process this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're, like what you just said is amazing. It's like you have nobody to talk to, but you might not even process it. Whereas if you're like, you know, recording it and like, oh, I really need to think about this and then you process it. So I really think it's super cool. Anyway, so I'm thinking next year I'm going to try to do like a daily reflection every day. But I'm beginning to make these humongous commitments. Like I want to do, you know, class vlogs every day, and now I'm doing reflections every day, and I've not done a single
I'm
one.
wondering how to be at the end of the day, put it in the car. I've always got my kiddo with me. We could process together in the car our own thing that happened. That might be interesting.
And you could even, like, I've started playing with the GoPro and some of the other cameras and that tripod that has the legs on it. And I've, like, last weekend I was in the car with my husband and I was hanging it from different things and, like, recording our conversations, recording the driving. I was just, like, playing with it. I think that would be really cool to just, what does it look like in the car at the end of the day when you're processing more? I think I started doing the video blogs more frequently because I'm such a verbal processor, and I do the same thing, Paige. As I'm talking, I'm like, oh, that's what I needed to think about, or like this new aha will just come to me. I never would get there if I was just spinning around in my own head, but because I'm putting it out there, it just really helps. And I was really fortunate to have a great person across the hall when I was teaching, and I could just run over to her classroom and sit on the floor and just get everything out from the day. But then when I didn't have that anymore, I was like, I still need to process that way, and it was such a great way to do that with the video. I would say too, like, doing the short ones is great, and I try to do that too, especially if it's something that I'm sharing. But I also have 12 and 15-minute vlogs that I've recorded, and I post them on my YouTube channel, and I just let them begin, because when I record a video blog, it's for me. I'm my audience. It's it's not for other people, but I share it. So what I say is, I record it for myself, I share it for others. And if someone happens upon it and wants to watch it, great. And if they don't, that's okay too. You know, it can be really easy to look at those view counts on YouTube and go, 2 people watched my video, oh, no one watched my video, but, you know, if you really think about what is my value for it, I have so many on there that have 0 views, or it's like 3 because I've watched it myself 3 times. But, you know, I think that that's the thing, is that it doesn't have to be for other people. And I don't know how many times someone has said to me, hey, I call them Raleigh Rambles. I watched your ramble, it was really great, I loved it. At 7 minutes when you were talking about this thing, I don't understand why someone's watching 15 minutes of me talking to my camera, but they find value in
I
it.
watch your my intentions, the intentions.
Mhm.
I like to, now I'm guessing what are her intentions.
But it's like being able to be metacognitive, but out loud for ourselves and process. But also there is that thing. It's nice to watch when someone else says something, and like Phillip, I think, is a really great example of just, this is what I've done so far this year. And as I watch these, it gives me an idea about what a teacher's been doing, what are they focused on, what are the things that have been, challenges for them. And I have to say, a lot of the supports for Project Cam Opener for next year have been created mostly because of the reflection videos that people did and the feedback that they gave about the things they were struggling with. And so we've identified, oh, we need to be better about helping people with this.
You get to watch a lot of those.
The fast forward setting on YouTube is my best friend, but I usually watch a lot of them just regular. It's just nice to be part of what you guys are doing.
And can you talk about the affinity groups and how that's going to be? Do we want to go there, or do we want to save that for the end?
Let's do it at the end.
Okay. Okay. Did anybody else want to talk about reflections? Was there any other pieces that you guys wanted to mention before we move on?
I appreciated that you gave like kind of the context for what was going on. I don't know, I just noticed that we wouldn't necessarily be thinking of this and stuff. If, I guess, for yourself as well as other people, it gets you feel.
So you said you used this as your mid-year reflection,
Mm-hmm.
and then you sent your administrator the link?
No, this was the mid-year reflection just for Project Cam.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking that could be another use.
But I did use it for, I was a member of the New Teacher Fellowship for the National Science Teachers Association, and we had to record some videos. And so I did share them with my mentor who was in Chicago. And so these were really helpful for her to, I shared some of the student videos, and I shared some of my personal reflections with her as well. So I did share them outside of the Project Cam community. Yeah, so it was cool because that was a requirement of the New Teacher Fellowship, and it was nice that I had all the resources in place to do that with the support of Project Cam. Because if I didn't have that support, it would have been much more challenging because I had never done it before. So it took some of that, it made it a little easier for me to fulfill my responsibilities in that role. So it was really helpful. So the next video that we're going to watch is on collaboration. And so the collaboration video was one that was brainstormed. The idea came up through conversations with my mentor through the National Science Teachers Association. So I'm a new science teacher. My licensure areas from Metro State are in special education and culturally and linguistically diverse education. So when I was doing my student teaching, I never had any field experiences in science classrooms. And so when I was stepping into that role, I identified that as a huge challenge for me, and I wanted to be a better science teacher. And so I reached out through the National Science Teachers Association and found out about the New Teacher Fellowship, which gives the opportunity for 100 new science teachers to be given the opportunity to collaborate with a master science teacher. My undergraduate degree is in science, and that's how I'm highly qualified to teach science. And so through the National Science Teachers Association, their New Teacher Fellowship, I was able to have access to a mentor who is a master science teacher, and I teach at a small school, so there's no other science teachers who teach there. And so I filled that hole through the National Science Teachers Association, and I also filled it through Project .cam. And one of the goals that I have for myself moving forward is I really want to collaborate more with the science teachers within DPS. So this collaboration video, Miss Mona Hicks, who was my mentor, and I talked about how we wanted our students to be able to share experiences. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the introduction, and then I'm going to fast forward to the first student interview. So the idea is that we gave students from our classroom to talk with one another. Mona's in Chicago. So we wanted there to be a conversation between my classroom and her classroom, and for students to connect the learning in each of our classroom environments and make some connections. So that was the goal of this, this video segment. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's watch the introduction, and then I'll fast forward to the first student interview.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Phillip Haberman. I'm the Earth Science and Biology teacher at Compassion Road Academy, Public Alternative High School in Denver, Colorado. I'm fortunate, extremely fortunate, to have your teacher, Miss Mona Hicks, as my mentor through the National Science Teachers Association New Teacher Fellowship. I sought the opportunity to participate in that program.
So that's me further explaining what I just explained to you. And then I'm going to skip over to the student interview so that you guys can see that.
Is this your student?
This is one of my students. Mm-hmm.
Sharing some of our students and their backgrounds with you as well. And I look forward to
There's my cat. Her name is Amelia.
Continue the Denver-Chicago Collaborative. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the Science Classroom at Compassion Road Academy here in Denver, Colorado. We are recording this for the Denver-Chicago Collaborative between my mentor, Ms. Mona Hicks, and myself, Phillip Haberman, to give our students an opportunity to share a little bit about themselves with students in another state. So I'm going to introduce the student that I have today. I'm going to ask her some questions just about her general background, and then ask her some questions about science, and ask her some questions about what she wants to do in the future. So that's how the interview is going to go.
Burrito man is here.
So we have the burrito man in the house. Just so you know, we have burritos every day at approximately 10:30. They're pretty good if you're ever in Denver at Compassion Road. We're going to start by Melissa. Would you please just share a little bit about yourself with the students and with Mona's class in Chicago? So maybe your name, what grade you're in, whether or not you're born and raised in Colorado, and just maybe what you like to do for fun.
All right, so my name is Alyssa, and I was born in California, but I was actually raised in Colorado. When I finish high school, I want to go to college and get a degree in psychology and a couple other things.
Nice. What do you like about psychology, Alyssa?
I find the human mind really interesting in both good and bad ways, so I just want to learn more about it.
What science?
I want to show you this part at the end. Where she shares her words of wisdom.
Yes. You should.
Sorry about that. So essentially this part that I wanted to show you was I asked her, what piece of advice would you give another student? And she talks about just following through on your responsibilities. And those types of opportunities, hearing from other students who have had challenges, sharing with other students things that are going on in their life and ways in which they see the world, I think was something that just organically came out of this and something that I was really excited about. And so just that genuine opportunity for one of my students to share with other students that they don't know, I think was something that I'd really like to see further developed, and something that I was really excited about with this project. And because we're short on time, I think maybe we have a couple options. We can push through, and I can show you the other videos, and then we can have like a kind of whole session debrief at the end, or we can have a conversation just at this point right now. Would you like to see the other videos and hold off on the conversation, or would you like to have a conversation about the video that we just watched?
I wanted to find out if you videotaped the kids acting in the classroom, or was it mostly just reflection or one or two people?
I did in the presentations, so those are some of the videos that we're getting up to. So in the instruction piece, there are some of those pieces, which is the next video that I was going to show you. In the student presentation piece, there's some of that, and then in the out of classroom experiences, there's some of that as well. So we can just maybe watch the first minute of each of those videos and then have a conversation. Does that sound good? Yeah? Okay.
Can I bring up one
Please.
that I was thinking about, and feel free to shush me at any point though.
Nope, it won't happen.
But something that happened at the beginning, and we were all giggling when the loudspeaker came on, and that actually will happen a lot more than you might realize when you're working with video. There's that whole extra piece of like, I'm trying to record a video, but I'm in my classroom, and there are so many things that happen. People will come and go into your room all the time, and you're in the middle of trying to record a reflection. So I would just encourage you to, again, not worry about it and keep sharing those things. I love that, Phillip, you didn't try to edit that out of your video. It was just part of it, and you just went with it, because that's the reality, and that's what we do all day long in school. So that's a great example of how we can actually be sharing what it really is like to be a teacher in a classroom in BPS. Not, we edit it and we take out just the 1 minute that looks nice and pretty and perfect. Like, just keep it real. And I think that was something we had a good conversation this morning with Bart in that session too, about just, it's about the process and it's about sharing. And I think that people have this idea about what it means to be a teacher or an educator, and they make up, how many times have you seen an advertisement for a teaching tool or product, and there's this perfect looking teacher, and the kids are all sitting nicely and quietly, you know, and like we all look at that and think, well, that's not our reality. So I would just say keep sharing. The burrito van is here. Dirty in your videos. I think that that's important.
So and that's a challenge. It's a challenge. Again, I think it speaks to there's some self-consciousness that goes into recording the videos, and I think that you'll find, if you haven't started recording, I think that you'll find each video that you record, you feel less and less of that. So, and I still feel it right now being recorded, of course, as well, but it gets easier. So let's check out instruction. Let's check out the instruction video.
Students, good morning. It's nice to see you guys. I hope you guys are having a nice day. Welcome to your Earth Science 1 class, Block 3. In this class from 10:38 to 11:55. What I want to do is I just want to thank you to begin with for going through the processes of finding your name on the seating chart and grabbing a spot at your seat, getting your phones out, and going through that process as quickly as possible. We have limited class time, so it's important that we make most effective use of that time. As far as our objective for today and our agenda for today, the agenda on the board is current as well as our objective. So our objective for today, ladies and gentlemen, is...
So that piece is important, and we'll talk about that. I really was focusing on my classroom introductions and just rituals and routines in my classroom, so that's why I focused specifically on that particular segment of instruction. That's one of the things that I was sharing with my mentor in Chicago, and she was giving me feedback on that. So I think that in the instructional piece, if you can target specific areas that you want to focus on, that's always that is a good way to go. So we can talk about more. I just want to get through these so that we can have a really rich conversation about all of the videos that I prepared. So this one is student presentations.
You wasn't there, so can you not click like seriously?
So remember to pick your audience.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, myotone. These are the segments.
Oh my God, my bad.
These are the segments of the muscles in the trunk and the tail that are arranged in the unique zigzag pattern. There are two groups of myotone muscles that are separated from one another by a deep connecting tissue known as the transverse septum.
Remember when we come up from the shark? That's the, that's the stuff that preserves the, that's what doesn't like. It goes through kind of growth and stuff in the lead away. Food died in the, blood veins. Yeah, so you can see the veins more. Yeah. I forgot about that.
So students in this video are describing the shark dissection. You missed the introduction. I went to this video because it was there was more energy from Kiki and Jermaine than some of the other videos, and I would love to show you the whole thing. But one of the things that I left in this video was just that this was at the end of the year. This was recorded earlier this week, and so this is the end of the school year. These are two students who are having difficulties just finishing their presentation and getting it done. And so we were just having fun in the classroom. And so this particular video, I wanted to show this one just because it demonstrates that. So we had a little dance session at the end. And students were excited about that. So there's one other video that I want to show you, and I worked really hard to get this one together. This was the one that was giving me trouble today just because it was a really large file. But this one's focused on out-of-classroom experiences. So I'm really excited to have the GoPro to record these. So this is a group of students who had the opportunity to go to the Keystone Science School, and this was our trip up to that location.
My name is Mr. Haberman. I'm the science teacher at Compassion Road Academy. We are in the car right now. I'm in the car with Mr. Lee Walker and Mr. Christian Valdez. We are driving to the Keystone Science School in Dillon, Colorado, where we are going to be working with 50 other high school students from across the state to learn about what Denver gets its water. I am most excited about providing an opportunity for one of our students, as well as one of our professional staff, to engage in the learning experience and be exposed to the mountains of Colorado. And I could be more excited about making this happen. Preparation makes something, and really packed. Here, we're ready. We are ready.
Is it camping?
Follow the packing list.
But it's in cabins. So we were just kind of joking around when we recorded. So I edited this via Camtasia, and so just put some pieces together to tell a story. This was some of the collaborative teamwork that students were working on, and some of the problem solving that they were doing. The second half of this video is then a presentation that I gave at the National Service Learning Conference later in the year. And so just those kind of out-of-classroom experiences.
It's
Mm-hmm.
a
30.
30-day trial for free. You can download it right now and start playing with it, and then if you like it, it's called CamTasia, CamTasia. And if you just search for that in Google, it'll come up with a free download. You can get the trial, and then if you end up liking it and you think that it's something that you're going to use, email Ben and I, so we have some licenses, and all it is just we give you a key code, and you put it in, and then you've got it.
I have iMovie, so, I'm curious what is the functionality of it and why would it,
And I haven't used iMovie
okay,
at all.
okay.
And so what I liked about Camtasia is just that it was really user-friendly. It was really easy to drop the videos in, and it was really easy to export them. The IT person at my school recommended iMovie. I haven't used it, not because I don't like it, just because I haven't had the opportunity to.
You don't have a Mac?
I do have a Mac, but I just haven't used it.
Okay.
Are you familiar with iMovie already, Maria? And you've been-
No, well, it was on my computer, so I played with it, and then I made, before was part of Project Cam Opener, I had made some student video reflections, here. And I was gonna ask you, when your kids were presenting, were they seeing themselves in a laptop in front of them?
They were for that video, and the reason why was because,
Camera.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I asked for the GoPro or an external camera without that, was to not have that self-consciousness, and I know that I myself experience. So,
Right.
all right, just curious.
I would say if you're comfortable with iMovie, Mary, you would not
Mhm.
have used iMovie a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like, it's been a while, I did it a lot in grad school, but, it was very intensive, so if I'm thinking about doing more casual stuff, like, I'm just curious, like, how much easier Camtasia might be. So I feel like if I get into iMovie, then I start really, like, messing with all of the little
Yeah.
details, and that can just take a lot of time.
I would say iMovie is great. I mean, you can do the same things in both. So really, I would say whichever one, some people like one more than the other, whichever one you're comfortable with. I think iMovie is created much more for the common user to create as close to professional looking video as possible, and so they give you a lot of like templates and have the video swoop in and out and put the title and captions and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to play with that, I would say iMovie is probably more intuitive than Camtasia. You can still do the same things in Camtasia, but I like Camtasia just for the quick, like, I'm going to chop these pieces out, I'm going to drag this over. It's just very quick to do that sort of editing. And I do spend some time, I get sucked in turning the volume up or down or speeding it up. I do that with my video blogs. Sometimes I'll just speed up my blogs before I upload them to YouTube so that instead of 10 minutes, they're 7.5. Those kinds of things.
Is that what you used to do that final video that you did of the year?
Yeah, so all of the Project Cam Open compilation videos and promos that we did were all Camtasia. You can add like noise
Because I like the
backgrounds.
speed up and some of the things you did. Sorry.
No.
Said that in the
No,
email.
that's what we're here for.
Eval, and it's showing, I think, yesterday's stuff.
Should have all,
Yeah.
does it not have?
Yeah, so please feel free to keep the conversation going. Just know that, too, we'd love to hear your feedback on this session. So if you could pull up the evaluation, it'd be great to hear your feedback.
How much of this did the kids go back and see what kind of, what was there, like, in, so did you video, did you flip stuff, any of that kind of thing?
I didn't. I feel like I was just laying the foundation, just getting used to the technology and getting used to, students were really excited about, I found that they were really excited about being recorded. And so I rarely got a student who said, no, I don't want to be recorded. And I would always ask them if it was okay, of course. The most that I ended up sharing with them, and I'd love to do it more, was just while I was preparing these kind of videos at the end, and just I was sharing that process with them and making sure that it was okay that I shared it with the group today. And so I would love to use it as an evaluation tool. So after their presentation, be able to go back and watch their presentation with them, talk about things that they did well and talk about things that they could have done better, but it's not something that I did this year. And as far as getting my classroom to being flipped at that point, I would love to get there, and I feel like I'm still laying the foundation to do so.
I would like to get there too, but I feel that only certain things apply to blended learning. Or that some things are more applicable, you know. So for example, if you're a physics teacher and you're showing how to solve a specific type of problem, but I think I taught earth science, it was so content rich, and you know, most of it would be accessible, whatever. The only tool I had was textbooks. I didn't have access to Chrome cards or anything like that. Next year, I will have access to those Chrome cards, and so if every student has a laptop, it'll make it where it's more, okay, I'm willing to invest the time to do it.
Right.
Like that, so.
I'm trying to use it for the things, you know, there's those things you say over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to turn those into some videos, and instead of me saying it over and over, I say, just go watch that, because let's see it again.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I made a review before a unit test, and I was just doing it to practice. And it just so happened, this is crazy, I had 2 kids in in-school suspension. And I took the Chromebook, and I go, here's this YouTube video. You were just like, oh my God.
Nice.
The other thing is because I had done that, you know, I had done the video, I decided to use the YouTube as a, like, of the review in class, because I didn't have one for everybody. And then I was able to walk around the classroom, and I felt like there was 2 of me. I felt like I had replicated myself. And it was so cool. I just felt like I could get kids more, you know, like to focus, you know, make sure you pay attention, and do a little bit more walking around rather than being in the front of the room. Anyway, so I wanted to, anyway.
This year, some people have also been doing things like recording the things that they say all the time. It's definitely popular. But then also recording them explaining homework and putting that on their class website. 'Cause how many times do parents say, I have no idea how you taught my kid to solve this problem, or I don't know what it is that you actually asked them to do, because they wrote, you know, worksheet 3 in their planner, and that means nothing to me. I don't know how you set up solving those problems, all that kind of stuff. And so they've been using it so that parents can actually see how you taught the lesson or how you teach a certain skill, and then they can support better at home. Or even just, you know, recording. There's been a couple of creative ways of just like recording the information that the kids need to know about the field trip or the thing that's coming up. They used to always, guys, really focus on what I'm about to say, okay? Because you have to take this information home. But if you could just record a video and share that with the families. Here's me talking about what we need for the field trip tomorrow. And then also recording reading lessons and being able to share, not just with your kids and your families, but even other teachers. You know, like, especially if you share kids, you are sharing, this is how I'm teaching this, then the other teacher can build on that. It's almost like a virtual learning lab. And you guys can connect and work on things more collaboratively, be more on the same page without having to be taking time out of your class. So it is like multi-partners.
Yeah, Nadia, I went to observe her, and she had, it would be like about 15 calculus problems. And so she had done this, you know, kids had the handout, and the kids were trying to solve it on their own. Or she was teaching, and they were taking notes on those problems as they're listening to it. What I really loved, and I observed, and I said, this is how differentiation can happen, is the kid paused it, and he rewound it, and like heard it again, you know. And so kids can process the stuff at the pace, an individualized pace, which I thought, wow, you can't really do that in my classroom, you know, the way I'm So I really like that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of kids who are out a lot, and the parents, they go on vacation. And the parents always are like, well, just give us the work. And it's like, well, the work is different from the actual instruction. And so being able to have some of the more important lessons just available for kids to hear again or
Make up
for the first time because they're on vacation.
And that comes with time, right? I mean, that comes with time. I felt like last year I was just getting my wings as a teacher. I'm still in the process of getting my wings as a teacher. And just, I found what worked best for me with the tools that Project Cam gave me. And so those reflections were really cool. It was really easy for me to record student presentations. It was easy for me to record some of those out-of-classroom experiences. Those are things that I'm really passionate about. It was, the collaboration project just kind of organically presented itself. So I just focused on the things that I could do. And it's funny because, ironically, I felt last year, you guys, I consistently felt like I'm not doing enough. Or I don't know if I want to record on a more consistent level. And it's amazing at the end of the school year, I can't believe that I had all the footage that I had. And it's going to be great to reflect upon this summer and just further develop my practice. So, and also increase, I've found that the videos that I show to students that I'm in or they're in increases buy-in on such a level that is really meaningful. When I show students a video of their peers, they're so much more invested than if I show them just some general video off of YouTube. I heard so many times this year from some of my students, and as you know, they're brutally honest. This video is terrible, mister. And I said, I know. That's why I want us to record our own videos so that we can have videos of you guys up there. And so it was this really powerful tool that I felt really increased buy-in from a lot of my students who can be difficult to reach sometimes. So I'm so excited to have been given the opportunity to share the work that I did over the past year with you guys. And I'm so excited for your guys' summer and your year ahead with all the tools that you now have. And there's so many great resources through Bren and Jessica that they'll continue to offer their help and support for that trip to the Keystone Science School and for the presentation that I gave at the National Service Learning Conference. I literally emailed Jessica a week before that experience and said, Jessica, is there any possible way that I could borrow a swivel, because I didn't have the swivel last year, and in addition to the swivel, a camcorder so that I can record the Keystone Science School experience and my presentation at this national conference? And immediately I got a response, and I was given the materials that I needed to make those things happen. So definitely reach out to the team because they will provide you with anything and everything that you need to be successful. So
What's the name of the school evaluation?
the evaluation, it's if you go to bit.
I'm there, but I have to have a name.
New teacher mentorship.
I don't think it's on here.
I just added it.
Oh, okay, no wonder.
Oh, right here.
Do that?
Yep,
Right there?
that'll refresh it.
And if you
Mhm.
want
I'll
the
go through it with
cert
this.
credit and
Yes.
school minute, but in the session
Yeah.
docs also list out of it.
Reload. Down at the bit's the last one. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I have one more video that I'm really excited to share. It's the snowboarding one. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that one?
No. I'm just excited to have some time, hopefully once this is over, to go and watch all your videos. I haven't had a chance to see them. I'm excited.
What's your YouTube channel you should post it?
It's what is it? That's a good question, Maria.
AZ43.
Let me see. Let me make sure I give you the right one. I think it's just mine. I think it's just mine. Yeah. Okay.
And you can even like do one now, the one that you're super excited about, and then say this is a video, this is picnic with someone, whatever it was.
Okay.
And like in a couple weeks you could post another one. I used to be a snowboard evangelist. I still snowboard, but now I have no one takes to me, so. But yeah, every year I would take pics. I would be worried about. Yeah, I'd worried something would happen and nothing really ever happened. It was fantastic.
Did you do it through an organization?
I don't remember. I've done it with Sierra Club. I've done it through. Yeah, I've done it with different organizations. It's been a while. We've gone to, is it Echo Mountain?
Mm-hmm.
We mostly went to Aurora.
Okay, yeah. Aldora's